Commander Zethkar of the Vorthan Empire studied the tactical display with growing disdain. The blue dots representing human positions scattered across the contested moon of Kepler 442b seemed pathetically sparse compared to his crimson battle formations. His mandibles clicked in what passed for amusement among his species. "These softskins truly believe they can hold this world," he growled to his lieutenant. "Their flesh is weak, their bones brittle. They lack proper carapace, natural weapons, or even decent regeneration capabilities. What do they possibly hope to accomplish?" Lieutenant Vexthul consulted his datapad. "Intelligence reports indicate they've been fortifying the mining settlements for 3 rotations, Commander. They appear to be digging." "Digging?" Zethkar's 4 eyes narrowed. "Like frightened tunnel worms? How predictable. These humans are even softer than the Galactic Council reported." The Vorthan Empire had swept through 17 star systems in as many cycles, crushing resistance from species far more formidable than humanity. The crystalline Zephyrians had shattered like glass. The metal-plated Corvin had bent and broken. Each conquest reinforced the Empire's belief that biological superiority determined martial supremacy. Humans, by all accounts, were the weakest species they'd yet encountered. No natural armor, no venomous stingers, no electromagnetic pulse. Generation. They couldn't even survive in hard vacuum without artificial protection. The Empire's xenobiologists classified them as catastrophically under-evolved for warfare. "Begin the assault," Zethkar commanded. "Let's finish this quickly. I want to be back on the homeworld before the next moon cycle." The first wave of Vorthan shock troops descended on the human settlements like a crimson tide. Their exoskeletons gleamed in the alien sun as they charged across the barren landscape, confident in their natural superiority. Each warrior stood, 7 feet tall, armed with razor-sharp claws and mandibles capable of crushing steel. Then the ground exploded. The humans hadn't just been digging, they'd been mining. Every approach route had been seeded with improvised explosive devices crafted from the moon's abundant nitrate deposits. The lead Vorthan squad simply vanished in thunderous clouds of rock and flame. "What manner of cowardice is this?" Zethkar snarled, watching his tactical display as dozens of red dots winked out of existence. But the humans weren't finished. As the dust settled, figures emerged from camouflaged positions that had been invisible moments before. They moved with fluid precision, not the panicked scurrying Zethkar had expected. Each human carried weapons that seemed impossibly complex for such a primitive species. Staff Sergeant Maria Santos adjusted her rifle's scope and lined up her shot. 200 meters away, a Vorthan commander was bellowing orders at his scattered forces. The 50 caliber round took the alien's head clean off. "Tango down," she whispered into her comm. "Someone want to explain to these bugs that being soft doesn't mean being stupid?" The human strategy unfolded with devastating efficiency. They'd studied Vorthan physiology, identified weak points in the natural armor, and modified their ammunition accordingly. Armor-piercing rounds found gaps between carapace plates. Thermite charges melted through exoskeletons. Sonic disruptors exploited the alien's sensitive hearing organs. Corporal James Chen emerged from a spider hole directly beneath a Vorthan patrol, his plasma cutter carving through alien legs like butter. The creature's agonized screams echoed across the battlefield as they collapsed, suddenly finding their vaunted natural weapons useless against an enemy they couldn't reach. "You know what your problem is?" Chen called out to the writhing aliens. "You think soft means weak. Where I come from, we call that adaptability." The Vorthan forces found themselves fighting an enemy that refused to engage on their terms. Humans struck from concealment, used their environment as a weapon, and employed tactics that seemed to violate every principle of honorable warfare. When the aliens adapted to one strategy, the humans shifted to another. Captain Elizabeth Torres coordinated the defense from a command bunker that hadn't existed on any Vorthan scan. Her forces had carved it from solid rock using mining equipment, then masked its signatures with civilian technology the Empire had dismissed as irrelevant. "All units, this is Mongoose Base," she transmitted. "Remember, these things are all muscle and no brains. They're expecting us to fight like them. Let's keep disappointing them." The tide turned when Private Rodriguez's squad lured a Vorten heavy assault unit into the abandoned mining complex. The aliens charged in formation, confident their superior numbers and natural weapons would overwhelm any human resistance. Instead, they found themselves trapped in a maze of narrow tunnels designed for human-sized workers. Their massive frames couldn't maneuver effectively. Their claws, so deadly in open combat, scraped uselessly against reinforced walls. The humans moved through the complex like ghosts, striking from ventilation shafts and maintenance crawlways the aliens couldn't fit through. "This is impossible," Zethkar roared as he watched his elite forces being systematically dismantled. "They have no natural weapons, no armor. How are they doing this?" His lieutenant, nursing a wounded arm from a human sniper's bullet, provided the answer the commander didn't want to hear. "Because they don't fight like us, sir. They fight like humans." The battle raged for 18 hours. When it ended, the Vorthon Empire's inevitable conquest had crumbled into a desperate retreat. Zethkar found himself aboard the last functional transport, staring at casualty, reports that made no sense according to everything his species believed about warfare. As the human settlements shrank behind them, he realized the Empire's fundamental error. They'd measured human strength by human bodies, not human minds. They'd assumed that soft flesh meant soft spirits. The humans had never claimed to be the strongest species in the galaxy. They'd simply proven they didn't need to be. On the surface of Kepler 442b, Staff Sergeant Santos watched the alien ships flee toward the stars. She removed her helmet and wiped sweat from her brow, her soft human skin glistening in the alien sun. "Hey, Sarge," Chen called out, climbing from his latest hiding spot. "Think they learned their lesson?" Santos smiled grimly. "I doubt it. But the next species they underestimate might not be as friendly as we are." The Galactic Council would later receive a detailed report of the Battle of Kepler 442b. It contained a simple addendum from the human delegation. "Soft skin, hard hearts. Remember that." The Vorthon Empire, for their part, quietly removed humanity from their target list. Some lessons they'd learned were better learned from a distance,